Hello everyone. In today's lesson, we are going to look at graphing quadratic equations using the intercept method. Now, whenever you are given a quadratic equation in factor form, for example, y is equal to a, open brackets, x minus p, close brackets, open brackets, x minus 2, close brackets, this is the best approach. For example, they can tell us graph y is equal to, open brackets, x plus 2, then x minus a 2. So, to graph, we have to find the intercepts first. But we know for x-intercept, y is equal to a 0. What does that mean? Where there is y, we shall always substitute a 0. So, we shall have 0 is equal to, open brackets, x plus 2, then x minus a 2. We solve for x, okay? So we are going to get this bracket, we equate to a 0. So we shall have x plus 2, this is equal to 0. So we transfer this 2 to the right. Remember, it is having a positive sign. And when it crosses the equal signs, it is going to obtain a negative. So we shall have x equal to negative a 2. So when x is negative 2, we said y is a 0. After doing that, we shall also equate this bracket to 0. So we shall have x minus 2, this is equal to a 0. It is having a negative, meaning that when it crosses the equal signs, this negative is going to turn to be a positive. So we shall have x is equal to a positive 2. So when x is 2, y is equal to a 0. After obtaining the intercepts, we are going to obtain the vertex. So to obtain the vertex, we shall obtain the midpoint of the intercepts, okay? So we shall say x vertex is equal to p plus a 2, everything divided by a 2, which means that x is equal to, remember our p is negative 2, then our 2 is a 2, everything divided by a 2. Negative 2 plus positive 2, we get a 0. 0 divided by 2, we get x as a 0. So, after obtaining this value, we need to obtain the y value. How do we obtain the y value? We shall get this 0, we substitute into our original equation. So, we shall have y being equal to, open brackets, this x we say that it is 0, then plus a 2, this x is 0, then minus a 2. So we shall have y equal to 2 times negative 2, meaning that our y is equal to negative 4. So we are going to get more plotting points. And how are we going to get them? I'm going to move one step to the left, okay, and then one step to the right. What do I mean? From 0, I'm going to move one step to the left, meaning that I'm going to have negative 1, and then one step to the right from a 0, which is a 1. Now, I need to get the value of y when x is equal to negative 1. How are we going to obtain them? We say that we are going to get this negative 1, we substitute into our original equation. So we shall have y being equal to negative 1 plus 2, then negative 1 minus a 2. So y is equal to negative 1 plus 2, we get a 1, times negative 1 minus 2, we get minus 3. This implies that y is equal to negative 3 when x is negative 1. So we need to obtain also the value of y when x is positive 1. So we shall say y is equal to, where there is x, we substitute a 1. So y is equal to 1 plus 2, we get a 3. times 1 minus 2, we get a minus 1. So this implies that y is equal to negative 3. Now, we note that when the coefficient on the first bracket is positive, we know that that curve of ours is going to be a minimum like that, okay? And when it is a negative, it is going to be a maximum. So, since this one is a positive one, it implies that our curve is going to be a minimum at this vertex. So let's graph our quadratic equation. Now, since we have our plotting values, we are going to plot and then we sketch our graph. So let's begin. Remember, when x is negative 2, y is 0. When x is negative 1, y is negative 3. So we are going to find it at that point. And when x is 0, y is negative 4. When x is 1, y is negative 3. When x is 2, y is equal to a 0. What does that mean? From negative 4, this curve is going to move like this, moving upwards. And from negative 4, this curve is going to move like that. So we shall have y is equal to, open brackets, x plus a 2, then x minus a 2. Okay? Now, when they tell us to find the axis of symmetry of this parabola, we shall find this line, which is x is equal to a 0. And the vertex or the minimum point is at this point, y is equal to negative 4.